Well, good evening, everybody. Or more, I should say, good afternoon, everybody. We are here live on the Jimmy Palumbo Show. That's right. I'm your host, Jimmy Palumbo, and this is show number 220. And, of course, behind the glass, your friend and mine, Mr. Dave Sturchio. Dave, how are we doing today?
Oh, we're just Jim Dandy. We're good to go. It's another Tuesday. It's been a
weather
fun one.
Cooperating. Of course,
Yeah,
it is.
No, it's not. It's fucking it's
It
the
is
worst,
miserable.
man.
Of course, I'm wearing just a generic green shirt here, Jay. No team member. I was in a hate sports mode this morning. But of course, show number 220. And there's like too many, the numbers are getting shitty now because there's like too many guys. So I know the first thing most Yankee fans think of in number 20 is clearly Horace Clarke. And then you got Bucky Dent and Alvaro Espinosa. I don't know if you remember him. Then Bobby Meacham. You were probably too young for that.
I do remember Meacham.
And then there's Jorge. Then Jim Finn, fullback on the Giants back in the day. And then, of course, my neighbor, Joe Morris, who the running back for the Giants, who I think gets completely tiki barbered and Barkleyed out of the. Joe Morris was listen, running backs, most running back, was it 3, 4 years? I mean, besides the Hall of Famers, the great ones. But like for 3 or 4 years, Joe Morris was as good as any back in the league. Like he was tough as hell. Love Joe Morris. And of course, Mel Renfro for your dad, and Ron Springs, another one for Mr. Sturchio. And you got Rocky Blyer, and of course, Barry Sanders, probably one of the best backs of all time. So that is number 20 for show number 220. And of course, the baseball card portion of the show. Here's a guy, you know what? This guy played a lot longer than I thought, and he was pretty good. And I can only find two things that I found not funny, but interesting. So this guy's almost like too good. His name is Jeff Russell. Jeff Russell was a relief pitcher and a starter from 83 to 96, 14 years in the bigs. He compiled a record of 56 and 73, but he was a relief pitcher, 3.7 ERA, 186 saves, 1,100 innings pitched, so that's a decent amount. For Cincinnati, Texas, Oakland, Boston, Cleveland, and back to Texas. 1989, 38 saves here, Che, with a 1.98 ERA. That's Mariano-esque. 92, 30 saves with a 1.62 ERA, of course. In the playoffs, he was okay. In 1992, he got knocked around a little bit. And he pitched against the Yankees in 1996. And he did okay. 3 innings pitched, gave up a run, whatever. He was involved in a couple of the things that makes me laugh about him are this. His first game in the I always think if this happened now, his first game in the major leagues, he started, he pitched a complete game. If that happened now, we'd be like, oh, this guy, he's Cy Young now. We're set for life. And then he gets shelled and he stinks. He was traded for Buddy Bell at a time. It was a big trade. But he was involved in arguably, see if you get them, you agree with this. I would say it's in a top 20 of big trades. He was traded with Ruben Sierra and Bobby Witt for your friend and mine, Mr. Jose Canseco. They sent him.
So Jose Canseco was sent
to Oakland.
And they got Bobby Witt
and Ruben
Sierra.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it depends on when it was. I mean,
Ruben Sierra was a big-time prospect at that point.
I didn't know Canseco got traded.
Yeah, that's how we got to Oakland.
Where'd he start?
Texas.
I don't remember that. I don't know why.
So you were just a wee child, I guess. I remember when it happened, but I didn't know what. I remember Bobby Witt because he pitched a gem against the Yankees somewhere along the line. But like I said, 1989 Rolaids Relief Pitcher of the Year. I don't know. They still have that anymore. The
Rolaids. Holy shit.
Rolaids. Rolaids. The picture. I remember they used to do that shitty ad on Channel 11. Now he's a coach for the Texas Air Hogs, which are independent minor league team. His son James Russell pitched 7 years in the bigs. And he also coached him a lot. That's why when he retired, he ended up coaching his son all the way through. And his son married Bobby Witt's daughter. That's the things you need to know in life when you're driving.
Now Bobby Witt Jr. is one of the better players in the league right now.
There you go. So the Witts and the Russells that are all coagulated with the MLB. So that's it. That is Jeff Russell, your friend and mine. I hate when a guy has a name like Jeff Russell because when you Google him, you're trying to find a tidbit like
It's like going to the phone book and asking for a Smith.
Exactly right. You're like, oh man, you want to know if this guy's like, is he like own a real estate agency or selling insurance in South Dakota or something? So it's a little difficult. And like 100 Jeff Russells died. I don't know if it was his father. What the hell is going on? But that's what happens. But of course, we are at 51 in what? We are at 51 in the Patreon here at Shea. I must give a shout out to Gracie Hogan, because Tyson Hogan and Darren Clark always checking up on me when I'm in LA, want to know what I'm doing. I appreciate that very much. And also a shout out to my buddy from Colonia, Bob Sheehan. And the reason why I bring that up, on a sad note, me and Bob Sheehan are friends with my buddy Pete Loschel. And I did get a phone call yesterday. Pete's son, unfortunately, passed away at age 29. Really shitty thing. I haven't got a chance to talk to Pete yet, but thinking about you, Pete, and your family, and some prayers. 29 years old, that's just too young. I don't know any details, nor do I care to share them, but hopefully my thoughts and prayers, that's all I can really offer there. And speaking of that, speaking of Shit Your Body Needs Day at Shea, Chasing Miracles.
That was a piss poor transition, man.
I'm the best at transitions. That's what makes the show good. I just go right into shit your body needs.
Yeah.
ChasingMiracles.com. Of course, it's, listen, they're stem cell patches. I am wearing them right now on the back of my neck and right above my belly button, which I have plenty of room there here, Jay. These things really work. They're cool as hell. They also sell a bunch of other stuff. I drink this vitamin liquid every morning. And I'm going to be getting blood work in 3 weeks. And hopefully this little precancerous thing seems to be cleared up. Which
that's
is good,
cleared up.
But
Good,
I still got to go to the guy. You got to check everything out. But go to ChasingMiracles.com. Stem cell patches, shit your body needs, non-invasive. You can pee in the cup. Your friend and mine, Gene Woodling. And that is that. Well, that being said, we can talk about the Knicks, I guess. It's old news now, but I think they played after our show last week. Look, Pacers were hot. The Knicks got, I think, caught against a team, just a bad matchup. And I think they're better, Pacers, or I should say very well coached, a run and gun game that the Knicks don't match up well against. And the game one craziness really, I don't want to say it cost them the series. That's not fair to the Pacers, but it definitely was a major monumental turn, just like when the Knicks played the Celtics, and the Celtics were in 2 games were 1 for 97 from 3. That's why we beat them.
I think obviously the bigger news with the Knicks is post.
Right.
Postseason.
And post the series, of course, Thibodeau got fired. Well, I don't agree with it because I think the Knicks, we used to you and I on this show would make jokes about how the Knicks were relevant for what? It was like 2.5 weeks every year for since I met you, Dave, we're on 3rd week of the Knicks. Maybe they won 4 out of 5. I don't know. Thibodeau comes along and it seemed to be a stability. I think the Knicks played hard under him.
Well,
I questioned some of his,
that could be the detriment, though.
Playing the starters and all that stuff, a little bit too much and all that. But you know what? But that's not the reason why we lost. I mean, you could say against the Pacers, they were running out of gas, but to me, it wasn't running out of gas. It was, and I'm bringing this up because I flew home from LA late Friday, and I told you, is this off the air? It took me 4 hours to get home from Kennedy Airport to Jersey. Something on the GW Bridge was off. I don't know what was going on. And I'm listening to WFAN. It was McGonigal, I believe it was.
I looked at all his episodes. I got to look at one more. I'm trying to find the audio of this because I got to hear this boom
they don't
named
put
Jimmy
on the podcasting. They don't put it all on though.
They put the callers on. I've heard callers.
Anyway, so because I tried to listen, I thought I listened to another show, and it seems I think they edit anyway.
Yeah, of course they probably edit the shitty callers.
Right. Well, maybe they edited me out because I had to listen. I'm in the car. And this is just, again, you and I did. We agree a lot more than we think. But I'm listening to this guy, and he is just gushing over Karl Towns in the playoffs. comparing him to Randall and Randall and Randall and Randall. And I'm sitting there going like, wait a minute. What playoff did I watch when of the 50 quarters the Knicks played, I have Carl Towns doing well in 6, and I have him playing unbelievably Jordan-esque in 1. But there were tons of quarters where I'm sorry. And he kept on comparing him to like you getting this Bridges and OG. The thing that drives me nuts about Carl Towns is Carl Towns isn't like your $18 million guy. He's like $50 million guy. He's the guy. He's our guy. Like the Lakers have LeBron and Jordan at the Bulls. They had Jordan. I mean, what's his name on the Celtics who got hurt? Everybody has the guy. He's our guy.
No, he's
and,
not.
What do you mean? Wait a minute, though. In terms of Carl Towns, you're going to compare him to Brunson over a career?
No, I'm talking about like right now as far as like who's the guy, and the guy is Brunson, not Towns. Okay.
Yeah, but see, that's the whole thing. Then pay, like, I don't want to hear about when he got to me, and I said this to the guy on WFAN. I said to him, I said, why are you gushing over Carl? And so he jumped all over me right away. What do you mean he only played 6 quarters? I'm like, ask anybody. I watched the games just like you did. I don't care if you're on WFAN. I watched the games. Carl Towns disappeared to go have lunch in many quarters doing that. And I think he got exposed in a big New York market where everybody's watching. I think he got exposed. I don't think he had a great playoff. Anyway, so the first 2 callers after me ripping on me. But I'm in traffic, so I was beaming in the car. They're like, who's that guy? Carl Towns is the greatest. Nick, he's going on. They were all these calls. And then it was like the 4th caller or something. And the guy was like, hey, who's that guy? He was right. What the heck? So I got a huge kick out of it, sitting in traffic, listening to callers rip me apart. But look, the Knicks, I don't think Thibodeau should have got fired. I don't. I mean,
it's only, listen, it's year 1 of this group, right? Like the group that we just played with Brunson, Towns, Bridges, all these guys, Josh Hart, Miles. I look at it like this, like what has been the common denominator throughout the postseason lack of success. And yeah, we got 1 round farther, which was great. It was first time in 25 years, but
we beat one of the best teams.
Yeah,
we beat a hot team. I mean,
beat one of the best teams in the Eastern Conference, but you got to shake things up a little bit when you can't just rinse and repeat, because then you're going to find yourself in the same situation. So at the end of the day, you're not getting rid of Brunson. You're not getting rid of Bridges. You're not getting rid of Towns. Maybe get rid of Towns. I don't know. There's rumblings, of course. What kind of package would you have to send to Milwaukee to get Giannis? But again, I would take, would I take Giannis over Towns? 100%, right? I would. But like, I don't know what it's going to cost you. They do have a protected lottery pick from the Pistons that still is on our, we have it at our disposal. So we do have some, believe it or not, when you look at the Bridges trade, you're like, they traded away the rest of their farm. But in the NBA, there's only 2 rounds, so it doesn't matter. But you had to make a change. And I think he did not coach this team well. This team has talent. They were not coached well.
I will make this prediction. With the same personnel, they will not be better under, I don't care if Pat Riley coaches them. I think this personnel is flawed. I think guys like Bridges, like OG and Bridges, like, who won the 1 game against the Pistons? Was that guy Payne. Without him that game, we would have lost.
But again, to your point, where is Payne in these extra?
Well, because he did play him again, then he was like 1 for 15 in the game.
Well, I understand that, but that's wherein lies the problem, where you do have guys that can be a little bit of lightning in the bottle, but you don't play them, so you don't know. You only play these certain guys when
it's a philosophical thing. But
when the foul trouble starts and shit like that, that's when you start making these adjustments, and that's where he was lacking in effort. Like he was not putting the best 5 on the court at all times. He wasn't.
But were you like, oh man, OG and Bridges, man, they were really cool to watch in the play? I thought they both stunk in the playoffs.
I think we have a great starting 5. I think we have a fantastic starting 5, and that's the reason why we were where we were. However, when you get past the starting 5, then you're like, okay, McBride, yeah, he's fun. He comes in, a little spark plug off the bench, great. But after that, you start thinking of the guys like when they were getting these reps and these minutes towards the back end, then I'm like, wait, why is he on the court? And they're like, oh, defensive liability. That him, like the other kid too. I can't forget his name. He had the dreads, but like I don't really understand. Like, you want defensive replacement? Get better defensive players on your starting five. You know, like, don't go to the bench to sacrifice scoring over better defense. Like, you have to make the right decision going forward when it comes to this head coach. You really do.
I think too many Knicks players played awful in the last round. Like Hart was awful.
Well, Hart was coming off the bench in the last 2 games.
Yeah, so he was awful. I don't think Bridges was that good. He had again 1 or 2 quarters for me. You light it up, that's fine. You know what? To be honest with you, Brunson didn't play well in many against the Pacers. They figured him out.
I mean, he was averaging 35 points a game. I don't know what more you want from the guy.
Yeah, but see, when you're shooting on 95 shots a game, when you in the last 5 minutes of the game, I think the Pacers did a good. Listen, it is a weird conundrum, as Tyson Hogan says. I just don't think the guy deserved to get fired. And
nobody deserves to get fired. It's just that you have to figure out what's next.
And now they're going to get Jason Kidd and give away players and picks.
I don't know. Jason Kidd's got legs because Jason Kidd did pull the best out of Brunson, in which got him paid to go to the Knicks, right? So, like, he is a good head coach. He's got the Mavs playing at a high level. Even when they had Luka, and like, that team was pretty dominant, man. So Jason Kidd coming over here intrigues me. I don't know if that's the best pick for the Knicks. You know, to me, I'm just like, just get Patrick
the other guy, Ewing Post Malone, whatever his name is, he may come over.
Malone might come up. Like, he's got, again, these guys, they have different features and assets to be the coach of the Knicks, but you do have to change the structure of the team a little bit. You got to get a little deeper. And according to what people have said, you know, the GM and Dolan and all these guys, they're going to be aggressive again this offseason. So how aggressive does that mean? Does that mean, like, look, this cat thing ain't going to work out, let's just shift them, let's get rid of them? Or do you build around and you just get better bench players?
I don't think the guy deserved to get fired. I think the Knicks were much, much better under him. And they were,
but now they have to get to the next level. Think about it like this: the
Conference Finals. That's a pretty high
level. Cowboys. Look at the Cowboys, right? They bring in Mike McCarthy, right? The guy wins 12 games 3 years in a row. And we're like, oh, okay, great. Now what? And then, they beat Tom Brady 1 year. And it's like, even better, right? But you can't get over that hump. What do you have to do to change the narrative of your team? You have to change the leadership at the top. And that's what has to be done.
The reason why you lose is a fumble here, a pick there, a missed shot
well aware. And people go, Dak Prescott in the play. Like, no, it all starts with coaching. You can't be this fluff. Like, he reminded me of Wade Phillips. You know, when Wade Phillips became a coach, he was a great defensive coordinator, but when you become a head coach who has a winning record, you have nothing to show for it. Championships are everything in every sport. I don't know. I want to hear about these.
I just think the Knicks were I think the Knicks were on their way with Thibodeau.
I think the Knicks have changed my gears as far as a sports fan is concerned, right? Because I used to be one of those guys where I'm just like, they had a great year. They fell a little short. Like, fuck all that, man. You win titles now. Like, if you're not in the championship game or the World Series or the Super Bowl, it's a failed season. I'm sorry. There's no growing anymore. You have to. It's a win now business, no matter where you're at.
Yes, but when you haven't, the Knicks have been awful. And by the way, to all my net fans out there, please,
they don't.
I got to hear about.
Shush.
We've been in more final. The Nets.
Please,
let's be clear about this. The Nets. Okay. Are the most irrelevant franchise in the tri-state area. And I'm going to include Rutgers in that because at least they're in the Big Ten. The Nets they had a little splash there when they signed Jordan, LeBron, and Lou Alcindor, and that didn't work out. And the Nets do nothing. They got all these draft picks. Let's see what they do. They'll never capture New York, and it's nothing against the Nets organization. It's just, listen, the Knicks and Rangers and Yankees were here first. And those are more entrenched. Your great-great-grandfather was a Yankee fan or a Ranger fan or a Knicks fan. And the newer teams, it just doesn't mean they don't win. They can't win. But I don't want to hear like, oh, you Knicks fans, we're Net fans. Like, if you're a Net fan, you should be very quiet. That would be me, like Rutgers, Big Ten, like, yeah, screw Ohio State. Really? We haven't won anything. Nets haven't won anything. They were more successful in the ABA with the doctor. I just don't want to hear it from Net fans. And listen, and Boston fans, listen, you've been owning us for a little bit with the Yankee stuff. You got bitch slapped against the Knicks. It just happens every now and then. But are the Celtics a better organization? Absolutely. They've won 65 championships. I don't want to hear from Net fans. Anyway, I had a crazy week. It was a good week here at Shea. Those who tuning in who think we talk about sports too much. But I did have a crazy week. I recorded
Change the station then. Change the station. You got two fucking grown red-blooded males. What do you think we're going to talk
I don't even
about?
know. We're males. That was for sure in this society. I was gonna do it. Maybe I'll wait for the end of the show. I got a political comment to make. That's nothing to do with sides. So see if you agree. Anyway, so I did a voiceover for a huge video game, which we made nameless. It was awesome to do. I'm actually playing a character in it, which is cool. That's all I can say. It was awesome. Then I went from there right to Kennedy Airport, and I flew into Los Angeles. And my nephew John Henry picked me up, got me over to Mark DiCarlo's, and we had to get up bright and early to record a voiceover of something I can't talk about. It's a new movie, animated thing. It's taken like 6 years to do this whole thing. The animator is incredible. It's called Pinocchio, The Water of Life. They're trying to get it ready for the Venice Film Festival.
If California, survives in the next couple of days,
California's still there, which it is. You got, and I got to hang out with Megan Cavanaugh, who she played Marla Hooch in League of Their Own.
Wow, what a hitter!
Hung out with her always. She's a doll. What a ball breaker. We had more laughs. And also one of the voices, this guy, I'm going to blow his last name here, Fred Taskor. He's done like 90 cartoons, like cartoons that your kids watch, that you watch. Like he's got this booming voice. He plays the lead role in it. He's just what a tremendous talent. I worked with him last time. No, he plays the villain. And a Candy Milo's another one who's just.
Wait, so Marla Hooch is one of the voices on this thing?
Oh yeah, she was
great.
Oh, it's awesome. And
what do you suggest? More night games.
Yeah, she was. I love that you know all that. If
dude,
she's listening,
one of my favorite movies.
I'm going to get her on the show. We might. Have
that would be sick.
You know what though? Yeah, I can get her. The only thing is we have to tape her segment. She's like she can't do it live at 1, so we could tape her segment, right, and pop it in. Can we do that?
I mean, sure, but or just move the podcast till 4, so it's 1 o'clock her area.
No, maybe if we could do that, because yeah, she said she would do it. It was just really cool to work with these. Listen, I have a decent voice. It's raspy. I get it, East Coast crap, but these people are like, it's like you get in the room, you're like, oh. This is the NBA. I'm down there at Colonia High School shooting 3-pointers with my buddies. It's like people are you know when someone say, "Well, use your voice as an instrument." I'm like, I'm clearly just banging drums outside with my voice. And but she was great to work with. And then we had a barbecue at DiCarlo's house. His wife Yenny, we hung out.
Did you hook up with what's his face?
Volker
Marino?
No, he never got back to me. I know he was doing stand-up one night.
Well, he had commented on one of your Instagram things or whatever, and he said, hit him up.
He has my number. He should. I called him directly to his text.
Yeah, well, I'm not answering as you, so check your
What
comments.
What did he say?
He said something about like, I'm doing stand-up here, blah, blah, blah. I'll see you there. Hit me up, blah, blah, blah. So it's on you.
It's not on me. I texted him on his phone. That's First of all, okay, Thibodeau. Okay, it's like you text them on their phone.
Send him an email. I'm sure that'll get through.
I'm going to give him shit right now. When I call him, I'll call him back. Marino's a good comic. Then on Thursday night, I did stand up. You'll appreciate this at a comedy club called Flappers. I knew the people that run it years ago. It's in downtown Burbank, literally. It's called Flappers. It's beautiful, but they got 2 rooms. They got a bigger room and the smaller room. I was in the smaller room because I was doing a show with a girl named Dawn Broody, who she has a podcast, which I'm going to be on, and she's going to be on ours in about 3 weeks. Her podcast is called HILF, History I'd Like to Fuck. And she blends, it's a great title. Great. She blends in history stuff, like with the day, like I don't know, January 10th, whatever the hell it is, with like funny comedy, and she brings comics on. And first, when I got to the show, I'm like, whenever you mix stand-up with a weird thing, you're like, oh, totally wrong. It was great. And then the comics on the show were okay. The one guy, 2 guys were pretty good, but I went on last, and Mark DiCarlo was in the audience, and he was playing. The audience gets involved with trivia questions and what happened on this day, all kinds. But it's all done with comedy, but and also history. Because she's like on the History Channel, So she's like, you ever see the History Channel when they cut to like, but also back like an expert kind of thing. She's one of those, which is cool. My opening joke. Oh man, it bombed. It's a little bit R-rated. I thought it was funny, but man, did it sink? It was
Gotta know your
everybody,
audience.
all the comedians,
Gotta know your state that you're in.
No, what
you
happened was, don't even think this is funny. It's not funny though, but it's funny. Everybody, all the comedians, like, I'm also on the History Channel. Everybody was like on the History Channel. All these comics. So I go, I'm like, hey, everybody, I was like, it's so good to be here because I too am on the. I just said the Large Cock Channel. Dude, the silence was deafening. I immediately switched gears. I was like, "What?"
Yeah, usually, and you know me, I laugh at all your stuff. I mean, if I was in the crowd, I'd be like,
"What?" I got that. I didn't even get the agreeable look, and then I realized, okay, and then I realized, wait a minute. I got this right after that joke. I heard Mark DiCarlo laugh because he only laughs when I bomb. I know, look at Sam Grasso jumping in, right? So I'm like, oh, I got to. And then I realized, I was like, you know what? The first joke didn't. First of all, it wasn't even a joke. It was like 6 seconds in, and then I realized I don't get cocky with stand up. I realized I think I'm the best player here, and I'm going to take over the game. And then after that, it was complete domination. I had that room rocking. I told the guy to shut the red light off. I was sky jamming. I hit him with every single. The set could not have gone better. People coming up to me, comics, because that's what comics do. Backstage, they look at you like you're a jerk off. And then you have a great game, and everybody wants to know, what's your handle, Instagram?
Yeah, I saw the influx of followers that happened after Thursday. There was a couple new people that I was just like, who the fuck are these people?
Right. Because I just sky jammed over everybody. I was like, oh, yeah. So I definitely missed the first three-pointer. And then Sam Grasso, the Gong Show. But I had I did a couple of good evening, everybody. Out of nowhere. I was just, I just had it. You know what? Listen. So I tell people all the time, sometimes when I do stand-up, I'm a really good stand-up. And other times it's like, a little bit like kind of Michael Bridges or OG, where it's like, it's good. Yeah, like nobody walks home like, oh, that guy. It happens all the time. I consider myself a very average stand-up. But every now and then, you got to watch. I could jam it over here when I get going. So
have you ever performed at the Stand in New York?
No. I saw you were there. No, man, you didn't. I want to go over there.
I now know the owner, so I can get you a booking over there. Honestly, I get it.
There we go.
You got to see, like, first of all,
I'm about to send you more business from someone who wants to do a podcast.
Great.
From downtown Montalban. So how about a little gig at the stand-up for that 25?
I tell you what, man, you got to see, like, you'll see it once you get booked there. But like the green room, they mimicked the green room to two scenes from Goodfellas.
Oh, wow, that's cool.
Oh, dude, so nostalgia and so cool. But yeah, no, it was a great. I did a tequila opening event. I've never had an avocado in my life, not one, never. And they made frozen avocado margarita. Dude, had two of those, and I was draining threes. I was like, from the logo. I was like,
Dave on the turnpike driving home, burping avocado juice.
Here's the thing. So this networking event had a lot of execs and talent agents, right? So like, I don't belong there at all. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just there as as a friend of my buddy's to support his tequila brand.
You're somebody, so what?
Well, no, it's funny because I'm meeting execs. I was like, oh, where do you work? Like somewhere in the city. Turner. I was like TNT, TBS, and you're like, yeah, I'm one of the higher execs. I'm like, oh, holy shit, I got to get out of here. There's no way that I'm going to hold a conversation with this bigwig over here. And then I left and I went to Discovery, and I was like, what the fuck? Like, you are the who's of the who. But they're all they do is shit talk about every talent known to man. And I'm just like, all right, I gotta get out of here before I say something wrong. Yeah, dude,
I got a contact now at New York Comedy Club. I'll be investigating shortly. I met someone out in LA who is friends with the owner of that. So I'm into owners of comedy clubs. Of course, they'll never book me anyway. But so that was fun to do. Had a good set there, and then of course I landed JFK, and of course 4 hours getting home, which was brutal. But I had to get home. I got home very, very late, but I had to be up bright and early. Why? It's recital weekend here in the Palumbo house. That's right. Natalie Palumbo, 3 shows on Saturday. And of course, they need guys in the back to put together stages in 6 minutes. You got to dismantle stages. And some of the moms are badasses. They're like ripping shit. They're way better than us. Like, they're like, Jimmy, just take this away. I told the one lady, I'm like, listen, I don't want to think back here. My job is you want something moved, I'll carry it off. I'm not. These women knew exactly what they were doing. And we had like the same 4 dads. There's 7,000 dads that are involved in this. And there's 4 of us, the same 4 guys. Now, I know you had a recital also, but I will tell you this. At my recital, I had a softball game Sunday, okay, for the Potbellies. And they were having trouble getting guys. Why? I saw like the third baseman was at the recital, the left fielder was at the recital, I was at another guy. And these are guys like ballers, man, like never miss again. Oh, really? When your daughter's 6 years old dancing in a recital, everything comes to a halt. There is no NFL. There is no softball.
Man, Stella's obviously getting older now. She's in a little bit more of the older classes. She's been invited to the elite premier things, and all I hear is ching, 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 ching. This is coming out my bank account. But
she's at the best age to watch.
I literally, this is going to sound harsh, but like obviously her group was like 4th or something like that, 5th, right? But there's like 7 groups after that, and they get older as they go. And I'm just like, one of the older groups are going, and I'm just like, I'm watching, and I'm like, does any of these parents like sit their kid down and say, let's try something else? It's like, I understand you want to get them involved in all sorts of shit, and it's great.
It becomes a friend thing. It's social
but
stuff.
Like, you're not good at dance. Right, like, and again, I say this, but the teachers are telling me like Stella's a rock star, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, I know, I see what she's got going on. She's very good at what she does. She's 6. So when she gets to that competitive level, then it'll get harder. But like some of these parents, I'm just like, it's time to have that long talk with your kid. Like, can we try badminton or some shit? I guess, yeah. So it's not competition. They're all just doing their thing.
It's all about the grandparents coming and cheering. I hope you did you bring her flowers?
Of course, dude. First of all, there's 7,000 bouquets of flowers downstairs. First of all, and that's another thing, credit to my family, because every kid had, 2, 3, maybe 4 representatives there. Mom, dad, grandma. 18 people showed up to watch Stella dance.
Are you starting to understand what I say is as she gets older and she's dancing, I don't care if the Cowboys are playing in the NFC Championship game. You're done, because it's not just you. You got a whole band behind you.
And not only that, we hosted a lunch after that. I'm just like, oh God.
You'll be watching on your phone.
And listen, I'm a huge family guy. I love being around my family. It's a lot of fun.
That's why I know. You're screwed.
But I'm sitting there, when my wife was telling me about like the day, and I said there, I was like, wasn't last year on a Saturday? What? It's on a Sunday this year. I'm like, this isn't gonna like be a thing, right? Like they're not gonna shift.
Where do you see when they change? Like the NFL changes times, like it's always like 8 months in advance. Like some of these dance places. Oh, by the way, your daughter's not dancing at 4 p.m. She's going on at noon. You're like, well, I don't. The band. I can't make that real. Then you got to buy tickets because the tickets sell out.
$15 a ticket. We decided. Don't make anybody pay to see her. So guess where that came from? So then I'm like, all right, let's not invite the world then, because we're not like swimming in cash. We're not.
Listen, we're kidding around about the dance stuff, obviously, but I tell you, when the little kids dance, there was 2 little kids. They were 3 years old. I think it's the youngest you could do it. They were on stage, just these 2, a boy and a girl. And it was like the Good Ship Lollipop or one of those songs, Bunnies or something like that. And the girl on the side, the teacher is off side of the curtain telling them what to do. And they're looking to the left. And then they started to spread out like they were like, and then it was so cute. So that I'd watch all day long.
For Stella's class, she showed me, and I've seen the video of like her practice recitals. And then like as she starts her recital, I know for damn well that she's got like 2 solo things, like where she has to do things, and all the other girls are spread out, and she's like center of attention, time to rock. So I don't know why, but going into this thing, and maybe you could shed some light on this, but going into it, I was just as nervous for this than I was like for any of my wrestling events. Like for me wrestling,
now let me ask you,
I was in knots.
What were you nervous about? Because I know what I'm nervous
She
about.
screws up for falls.
Falls.
Or she gets embarrassed.
And then when
she's not very good at embarrassment. Like if she feels embarrassed,
if my daughter falls, if she falls on stage, we're done. It'll save me a lot of money, but still, I said to you over the weekend, you want me to, if she gets really good, we may have to go Nancy Kerrigan.
Just like, why?
I'll take her out. Daddy, some guy came up and blew out my leg. Oh, you're kidding me.
So she started, and like another girl screwed up the flow, and you could tell Stella was like, what are you fucking doing? You know what I mean? I know. She started playing quarterback, calling audibles and shit. I was like, what is happening? And then eventually she got to her part. She did her little thing, and I'm just like, wow, she crushed it, despite the fact that some other girl was like off by like 2 steps.
I know, you gotta watch.
But Stella's like giving her the you better come correct. You know what I mean?
I know, it's so
it's crazy.
It's just
it's great.
I don't. How about this? I know this, especially you. You got your ego's big enough. You didn't really watch her dance. You watched Stella dancing.
Oh, I zoomed in on her. Yeah.
I don't even know.
I don't give a shit what other people are doing.
Natalie's been dancing for 10 years now. I think I've seen her like maybe 2 of her dances. I am so locked in. Right. And wait till she gets older, when all the girls start to look alike. And next thing you know, you're like, where is she? To the left, back right. And all you hear is the parents going, she's back to the left, front to the right. Like, they circle around. It's so crazy. Listen, you know what it is? It's a girl thing. Someday you may have to go to a baseball game, 7:30 in the morning, 7:30, a 10:30, a noon, a 2 p.m. My brother-in-law used to go to baseball. He'd get home at 10 o'clock at night. It was like 7 games. That's just as brutal, especially when it's hot. And baseball games, Little League games are fun because we like baseball. But, dude, some of those Little League games are torture.
I got to ask, has Natalie played any sports besides the dance?
No, we're all in on dance.
I don't know, like, how – I know who I am and how I am. I don't know if like, my dad told me, he's like, this is the fun part. You get to coach your kid. And I'm like, I don't know, man. Because, like, I see my buddy, my business partner in the Fight Factory Wrestling, Chris Payne. He sends me a video of him, like, he's in the huddle with the kids. They're flag football, right? He's in the huddle with the kids. He's telling the kids, hey, get over there, right? And he's like, and then his son's the quarterback, right? So he drops back the pass. He's got somebody wide open. He's like, throw the ball, and he doesn't throw it, and he decides to take off and run, and he bends all the way back just because he's realizing his kid screwed up the play. But I'm like, I don't know. Like, I know how I get with the Cowboys. I know how I get.
You'll be, yeah. Well, you'll be.
I don't know if I'm going to be able to get out there and not kill anybody.
You'll be passionate. The good thing is you're a big guy. So when they're little, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 years old, you will have their attention. Only because you're like, there's always the big coach can squash you. But yes, you're going to have to, I'm glad I don't coach the dance because I hear some of the moms chatting. Well, that dance wasn't good. I'm like, you also get, how about a dad, picture like me, right? Never played football. And I'm giving you heat with 11-year-old kids. I never played football in my life. Like,
oh, I say that a lot on Twitter. A lot of people are coming out saying like, this guy's washed. I was like, from a guy who's never seen a field. Like, please stop.
No,
please
stop.
You
know what it is? I'll tell you what'll determine it. You probably will end up coaching Miles or Stella if she plays sports. You know why? They need the league. They need help. And I know. There's no way you're going to go to a sign up. You're going to get it on an email chain, and they're going to say, "Hey, probably we're looking for assistant coaches." It's just you just go like, "Oh, all right," and then what you do is you just give as much time as you can. But I doubt very much you're going to be able to blow off coaching if your kids are active.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't feel like I know how I'm going to get. I don't think I'm going to be able to resist, try it. And it's not just, and I've coached football before, you know what I mean? At the flag level with my buddies, or I've gone all the way to varsity at Franklin, and like the kids resonate with me because I'm a big kid. You know what I mean? I'm not Mr. Drill Sergeant, but I am like a hype man. And I will get these kids ready to rock and roll. And that's one of the things I do miss about being in education is coaching.
You'll definitely do it. You'll definitely do it. And it's also, Although there's a lot of negatives with coaching now, with the kids being punks, it also, I think you'll be able to control your own kid better. In other words,
Yeah.
you hate when you see stuff online. These kids are terrible, and coaches, God forbid your Miles gets out of line. You'll put the hammer down on that. So it's also a way to keep an eye on your kid as well.
Sure.
You'll end up doing it. I have no doubt. But if you're working, you can't, you may not, be able to do it. I know you're going to miss tons of football though. And good luck watching college football. That's gone.
I mean,
that's
that's literally number 5 for me as far as my priority of sports.
What'll happen? Rutgers will get good. And
then, Rutgers will get good.
Dave's at another recital.
You know what? I'll land the dream job that I've always wanted to land before Rutgers gets good. So let's.
I can't argue with it.
I mean,
although I will tell you, I think the Scarlet.
But I follow enough guys on Twitter. Where they're like, "Ooh, they got another recruit. Ooh, they got another recruit." I'm telling you right now, and this is a bold statement, but I'm going to say this right now. Just the other day, another law passed where it will be the beginning of the end of collegiate sports competitively because. Sure. Now you're going to have universities paying their athletes directly. No more fucking NIL. They could just be like, oh, that's the best quarterback in the country. We're going to give him $1 million a year to be the best quarterback in the country on our team. Yeah. This is now becoming the NFL. And there's no bigger NFL fan than me. However, there was something pure about the college sports because of the passion and the crying because they know it's their last game and shit like that, But now that's going to go away because these kids are going to be entitled and you're going to have Shedeur Sanders moments every year for the rest of your life.
But listen, see that you're right. But in theory, you're right. But actually, it's never been pure. Athletes have been getting envelopes.
I know. I watched Blue Chips, right? One of my favorite movies.
Okay.
I get it. No, I get it. But now it's so out there in the open, it's going to get worse.
The difference is the money is higher now because of all these TV contracts, $1 billion for live programming, because they can't, TV shows don't sell any, people want to watch, networks want to watch live programming. So the money now is outrageous, and rightfully so. These schools, the Big Ten's making $1 billion a year, and it's free labor. So every time they go to court, they lose. And it just what they have to do is have a system in place. Once they get this is the Wild West. In a couple of years, they'll have a system. Either way, Rutgers will suck at the new system I'm aware of.
If it's NIL and it's somebody like Jersey Mike's is like, you know what? We want to give this kid $50,000 because we want to help his education and help pay off his debts and all this other shit, and maybe line his pockets with a couple bucks. I get that, right? Because they are putting their bodies on the line for the university. I understand that. But now you're diving into the deepest of waters, and this is going to be bad news, man.
It's also going to be contract. The coach of go anybody listening, go on YouTube.
This. Tyson, my dad got envelopes and a Corvette in the early 70s when he was at TCU. There you go.
So it was there, and now anybody go online. What's the coach of the UConn girls? Aruma, the women's. You know the guy.
I've seen. Yeah,
you've seen him. He's won like 10 championships. You got to hear his interview about NIL. He's like, "Oh, you want to do this? Fine, but you got to sign a contract." He goes, "If I leave UConn and go get a job at Alabama has to pay UConn $8 million. You want to play? You want to go NIL? Sure. Here's a contract. Oh no, you can't go anywhere else. You sign a deal. Make it where you can't have players coming and going."
Well, Sam's bringing up the point is what I'm talking about. This is the death of collegiate athletes because Toledo's going to be out there trying to do their best. And they're like, hey, we got $100,000 for you to play defensive end. And Georgia's going to be like, hey, we have $100,000 a game for you to play at Georgia. And that's it. You lose the player. There's no what kid is going to turn down this FU money? Nobody.
The biggest problem with Rutgers, we have a lot of rich people that went to Rutgers, but we don't have that guy. Cuban, publicly he's like, well, listen, Indiana needs help. I'll go after a guy. But what's his name? Not Barkley. Charles Barkley on the NBA thing. He was saying if they think I'm writing a check every year to an individual player, they're out of their minds. It's not happening. So a lot of guys, there will be some. I think in a couple of years this will work out. Either way, Rutgers will suck at it. But I will. You don't think
it gets worse before it gets better? You're saying a couple of years they're going to work something out? What are they going to work out?
Already there's legislation and process that has to happen. So. I think the university running it is better because if you're a public university, the checkbook is public. Everybody knows what Seattle makes.
Fair.
You watch. It'll be more regulated, and players are going to get paid, and it'll be a different world.
You want to throw? Listen, eventually you're going to start seeing the NCAA salary cap. You will see something like that. You have to.
That's why give it like 2 or 3 years, and I think it's going to be okay. We'll get used to it. I hope anyway, because I like college football and college basketball. Also, the draft coming up. Can't wait to see where Harper and Bailey end up.
Well, whoever's 2 and 3, that's where they wind up.
Yeah, okay. I'll be watching.
I know.
I will be watching.
Dallas has won, so I
will be putting Google alerts on whatever team they go to. I want to be reading how wonderful these players are. What else did I do?
What else can I talk to you about? Man?
No, on Monday I went for my fitting. I booked a commercial for Meridian Health. I shoot it on Thursday.
You got it?
Yeah.
I don't know if you told me that.
I told you that.
Maybe you did. Okay. So this is the one where you're a disgruntled fan.
Yes, I finally got. As a matter of fact, they made me. So where were you? Wear the same stuff at the auditions. I had my Rutgers stuff on, and then they were trying to put me on. I put my LT jersey on, but it had too much NFL, so they gave me one of those like
generic.
It was like a Phil Simms jersey, but with the current like Eli Manning looking roster with no semblance of any generic.
Yeah, then they got to pay pay the machine if they do that.
They gave me like a blue hat. I'm like, but then they're like, we want you to look older because I have a son in the thing. But then the guy said some nice things. Director was
fucking older they want you to look.
Well, I got it. I mean, I with a hat on, you look a little younger. So
I think I wear mine all the time.
Yeah, of course. And it was fun. The director was like, you both lit up the room. It's gonna be a lot of fun. So I'm looking forward to that. It was a cool thing to do. And then I had 2 big auditions yesterday, which one of them, if I book one of these jobs, especially
getting a raise.
I don't know about a raise, but you're going to laugh.
The podcast is over.
No, the podcast will always go on. But I play an alien, a regular guy who turns into an alien. Oh my God. And I inject like sacks into guys' necks, and the alien comes out.
Who directed this shit?
I don't know. It's just an audition, and then another
probably Anthony Mastromanno or some shit like that, right?
Oh my God! It's so so in the audition you have dialogue, and it's normal dialogue, and then I shake the guy's hand and I become the alien. I'm like, I look at my buddy Dave who came over to help me record. I'm like, I can't become an alien like live in front of my gray wall here in my living room. So we just did the dialogue, which means I ain't gonna get it. And then the other audition, I played a guy who sells those nuts in the city, those maple covered nuts. You know, I'm talking about those the street vendors that have the roasted nuts. That's me. Gonna be a nut.
That's you.
Guy. Yeah, gonna be a
usually
nut
it's not of American descent.
Well, listen, probably an English director or something. But it was so funny. And then, of course, that brings me to another transition. Your absolute eyewear getting involved. Janine Michaud had a little birthday celebration. I think it was at the brewery in Woodbridge yesterday. I couldn't make it. I know. It was more for close family and friends, I guess. Absolute Eyewear, 42 Main Street. Go down there. Charles Oakley hangs out there, and various Knicks hang out. Like Brunson hangs out.
We didn't talk about this last time, but I went to the Woodbridge Brewery to watch the Knicks game, and I'm walking through the parking lot to get there to the patio, and I hear this voice, and I'm like, man, that voice sounds super familiar. I was like, oh, maybe they're watching like highlights of the Rangers and shit. And I walk in, and I'm 6 feet away from Sam Rosen, and I was like,
"That's unbelievable!"
What the
Sam Rosen?
I'm like, "Holy shit, dude, that's so
legendary.
Cool."
Legendary Sam Rosen.
That's Sam. That's exactly what I was thinking. And I was like, "Wow." He goes, it's for like close friends and not like people that you've known for the last 5 years.
I'm always like guys like John Sterling, Sam Rosen. Like, can you imagine just like you're the voice of a three generations.
I was captivated. I couldn't look away. I was like, this is fucking awesome.
I had drinks with John Sterling years ago. Not drinks with him, but he was having a drink at the bar. They banned that now. No Yankees could be at the hotel bar. But he was sitting down like, hey. So that like, hey, and he was just like doing. You realize that they're not putting on a voice like I do. Like, good evening, everybody. They talk like they're doing a game. So it's almost like, I sat here, I got a little Johnny Walker Black. So it's really, but it'd be so awesome to be a voice of that many my dad used to talk about Mel Allen and Red Barber. That was his generation. But I
Just
said,
takes a bite of a steak.
before
Good
my
steak
dad
season.
died, I told him, I said, Dad, Mel Allen got a lot of juice for years, Twib notes and This Week in Baseball. I said, but John Sterling started doing Yankee games, I think in 89, if I'm not mistaken. And literally 50 years from now, all those Yes shows, the Yankeeographies, it's going to be John Sterling is really the voice of the New York Yankees for well past my lifetime. People are going to know who John Sterling is, which is cool. But then, of course, so Absolute Eyewear, but I got to give a shout out to Jay Bird, Janine Michaud. A little more of a sad note here. She actually, her cat, 18-year-old DJ, named after Derek Jeter, escaped out of the house. I don't know all the details, but cat's missing. Obviously, it's been a couple days now, so it doesn't look so good. But a shout out to you. We're thinking about you. I know how awful it is to lose a pet.
That is brutal.
She always put pictures of the cat on Facebook all the time. With like the Knicks game on in the background.
Was it Craig's birthday yesterday?
They got together for Craig and her birthday and a bunch of people. So, but just a shout out to thinking about you, Jay Bird. I know it stinks to lose a pet, and also go out there to Absolute Eyewear and get involved. Then, of course, I ended up playing softball last night. Now, I got to admit, I show up, and for some reason, I was ready to play, and I get up with first and second. First, I got up in like the third inning, and I hit a pop up to the shortstop. I was like, I never do that. Awful. The second time up, though, I was angry boy at the plate. I was like, are you kidding me, Jimmy? You're a man. You got a metal device in your hand, like 6 to 12. You're like, I was like, I don't care if I hit a line out. Dude, I hit a shot in the gap, like all the way to the wall. Came in at second, then the guy ended up getting a triple.
You turned it into a double?
I turned it into, first of all, for me, running a double is like a 5K. It's like the second base seemed like, I felt like I was like on the Titanic waving the shore home, the Carpathia.
Is there anybody out there?
Is anyone, right. It was brutal. But here's what happened though. First inning, this league has a draft, right? I got selected in the 10th round. Okay.
And for full transparency, this is one round later than he got drafted last year. Yes.
So the league gets all transformed. So I showed up for game one. We only had like one or two of the guys were from last year, but the other team we played last week, I didn't recognize anybody. But last night, I realized that like they had 5 of the guys that were on our team last year, and we won it. I'm like, oh man, they got good hitters over there. So I ended up playing first base in the first inning, and they're chirping at me, Palumbo, but I'm busting their balls, and I'm wearing, I think I had my 706 hat on, and we're chirping, right? And I see like guys in the dugout, so I think at least 5 or 6 I played with them last year. It were all like fun kidding around. That's the good thing about the league. Everybody knows each other. So a guy hits a ground ball, a rope, but it gets through. So I go over to first base to make the play, and I'm not ready to get. Then I realize it got through to second baseman, and the guy comes running around, and he I was on the base legally, proper position, not standing on top of it, and he kind of smacked into me.
It's not a double bag?
No, which I should have. He kind of smacked into me a little bit. Oh, we got tangled up. He made it to second base. And so the guys were chirping, Jimmy, get out of the way, get out of the way. And I'm like, well, I was on the bag. I was, all in fun. And I thought the guy who hit the double was one of the guys on the team from last year. And I'm like, I'm sitting there. I'm 60 years old. This fat fuck comes flying. It's like before the next pitch. And they're all laughing. But then the guy was like, what? He got all I was like, nah, I'm kidding around here, man.
Well, if he doesn't know who you are and you call him a fat fuck, then I would get fucking upset too.
And I said to him, dude, I'm just kidding around. I played with those guys. I was like, I told him, why would I call you a fat fuck if I don't even know you? And you're not. I'm literally telling him, well, you're not. He's like, well, you're not funny. You're not. I'm like, all right. So I let it go. The bench is crying because they know, So after the inning, I went up to him and said, hey, man, I'm so sorry. I was just having fun, man. And he gave me all right. They must have said Jimmy's a good guy. So then 3 innings later, a guy, there was a ground ball to shortstop, and the guy makes a horrific throw 10 feet over my head. But I jumped up. I thought maybe I was going to snag it, So I jump up in the air. I come down. I guess 1/1000 come down. The guy either he slipped on the base because it was drizzling. Dude, he blew me out of his shoes, but I just spun around, so I didn't go down. But dude, he landed right on his tailbone. It was this black guy, and he, everybody was like, kind of whoa, as if it was my fault. They had video. I would clearly tell you I was not at fault at all. But dude, when you hear somebody like hit the ground, like I went whoa, and I immediately, you okay? And he couldn't move. The guy, he was like, oh man, my tailbone. So I'm lifting him up. Of course, I hear a couple of guys. You did that in the first inning. Everybody's chirping, and it wasn't fun this time. And I was like, no, guys, that was just an accident at first. And so the next pitch, there's a pop up to the third baseman. Okay. And there's a third base coach there, and the guy tries to back up against the face and up against the fence. Our third baseman goes to catch it, and he blows into the third base coach, and the ball drops, but the umpire ruled interference, batter's out, right? So I'm in the bench, and I'm like sitting there. I'm like, hey, what are the rules about, like, if a third base coach is in the box and he's sitting there minding his own business, everybody's like, oh, Jimmy, he was in the way. I'm like, yeah, but there's got to be a rule. It can't be just like, what's the deal? So, and then I was like, and what's the deal with me at first base? Like, do I have rights to the bag as anybody else? So I waited a couple innings. So everybody was getting a little heated. They were kicking the shit out of us too. I went over to the ump. I said, Blue, I got to ask you something. And no disrespect, I just want to learn for curiosity. He's like, what's the deal? He goes, no, third base coach has to get out of the way.
Yeah.
He can't just stay in the box like,
yeah,
I'm in my
of course.
zone.
I mean, that
he has
seems
to
like
get out of the way. But he goes, it's a judgment call depending on how catchable the ball is. But that ball was very catchable, and he was under it. So if it's at the top of the fence, though, I can rule it didn't matter anyway. He goes, but that was – I said, okay. I said, what's the deal with the bag? And he was like, well, it's a little more confusing there. I said, I saw what you did. You were just at the bag. You weren't bothering anybody. He goes, why you were staying at the bag that long? He goes, you have to come off the bag and let the base runner have access to the bag. I said, well, I did. He goes, but yeah, it's a weird thing. So I learned that's much more of a judgment call. But at two plays, so after the game, I tried to shake the guy's hand. I said, hey, man, the guy who hurt his back, he was very nice. I went over to him after the inning. Dude, don't play again. Take it easy. Oh, my God. He wasn't that young either. And I tried to shake hands with the guy. Say, hey, man, sorry about that. Just having fun. And he definitely did not want to talk it over.
Wow.
And one of the guys said, Jimmy, just let him go.
We'll see it in the postseason. We'll see what happens. Benches will clear.
Of course, there was a pop-up to the first base side. And I was coming on strong in foul territory. And I admit I should have caught it. Fat fuck, right? And I said, right to the bench, I was like, who's the fat fuck now? I am. And they all laughed. I looked over at his face. He wasn't buying it. He wanted to talk it over. But anyway, we got beat. We're 0-3 now. I'm 1 for 6 on the year.
Oh, boy.
Do have an RBI. 2 RBIs, actually. But just terrible. We got to play Wednesday night now. I'll see how well I do. But that brings us to OxyMagicUSA.com. That's right. Carpets. If you have filthy carpets, go to OxyMagicUSA.com and check them out. They're awesome. They're all over the state. They're great. They move the furniture. They're clean. It dries fast. Got hoses all over the place. These guys know what they're doing. And it's good evening, everybody. So go to OxyMagicUSA. Don't forget about One Bite Creative. Brian, give him a call. If you need new websites. All of
a sudden, we're getting tagged in the Frame Your Feline videos.
Did you? Okay, again, this frustrates me and you. I tried to. Either you did it before me. Did you? Did I have to click something to?
No, I shared it. I shared it.
Oh, so you did it because I saw it. I was like, oh, what do I?
When anybody ever shares something with you in it, I usually just share it to your story.
Yeah, see, I got to it and I was like, oh, what do I do here? I didn't want to call you.
They weren't collabing with you. Like these are the things that we already posted. So they're just repurposing them for
their
I was
like, I don't feel like calling up Dave over the weekend. Go, Dave, am I supposed to share? You'd be like, fuck you.
Oh yeah, that's right.
But also to close out the show, huge news tonight in Somerset, New Jersey. Dave, do you know what's going on in Somerset, New Jersey?
I do. Your boyfriend, Giancarlo Stanton, has a rehab assignment.
Is rehabbing. I can't go. I'm so pissed. We should totally go to that.
I mean, it's down the street from me. I can actually.
You gotta go, bro. You gotta go in there. You kidding me? But the weather, and there's a doubleheader tomorrow. I don't know if I can make either one. I'm so pissed. They said he's only going to play a game or two. And
he's going to have one at bat and be like, I'm good.
Right. But I saw him. If he gets a home run,
he's going to fill out that Patriots pinstripes just fine. Yep.
If he gets a home run this weekend for the Yankees,
he's going to fucking knock one 450. I know that. He's going to be hitting off a guy that's going to be fucking going to his job at A&P after.
But Stanton, after injuries in the past, it has taken him about 7 months to get his swing back down. So we've seen that.
Sam just said he's going to hit one at 287.
If he hits a bomb, I wonder
he's
if it's
going
on.
to crush one.
Are they streamed? No way.
Yeah. Sometimes, dude, you want to hear something crazy? They're streamed on, I believe, their website.
On Yes. No.
Well, Yes actually aired a Patriots game last week when the Yankees were off, but the Yankees aren't off tonight, so like they won't air it. But they aired a Patriots game on the Yes Network, and I was like, "What?
Are they on like SomersetPatriots.com?"
Yeah, like if you go on their website, I guarantee there's like a streaming
I have
thing.
to watch. If he gets up the first inning,
you're gonna be that guy in like the virtual chat. Like, how can I watch Giancarlo?
Listen, me and Giancarlo were
place
dating
is gonna
now.
be listen. The place is gonna be buzzing, and I guarantee I can get free tickets.
Now, I do know, and we talked about it last week. I introduced Dave to Black Mirror. I've changed his life forever.
Fuck, he no
longer eats bacon or ham. He can't look at a pig ever again.
Never did. You know what I watched though this last couple days, and I got like 2 episodes left. I'm a huge Shane Gillis fan. Tires on Netflix, the second season.
Like it? Some people did.
I
only watched one.
My brother was one. He was like, I can't get into it. I love Shane Gillis, but I can't get
it either.
I said, bro, this and maybe because I'm gummied up at the end of the night, so it's even funnier. But like, he's a funny fucking dude. Like, you know what I mean? Like funny. Everything he says.
I just the show so to funny. Me. I don't know. You know what? I to be in all honesty,
I'm surprised. Like that's the kind of show I watch, and I'm like, Jimmy should be in this.
I didn't give that show a fair shot. I have to rewatch because people do like it.
It's pretty grimy. Like they don't fuck around this season. Like they're definitely
two shows you should watch. You watched Landman.
Mm-hmm.
Did you watch Goliath?
Not yet. No, that's the other one with Billy Bob, right?
Yeah, it's good, man.
But as soon as you told me that there wasn't any deep speed, I was like,
they have more. It's more Big Ten receivers than LSU receivers, and a lot of possession, a lot of 3rd and 7s, 8-yard curls. There's no deep speed. That's for sure. Well, actually, Bella, what's her name? The actress, the blonde. She's hot. But the show you got to watch.
I watched
on Netflix.
The Bin Laden documentary.
Mortician.
No,
dude.
Mortician, like the people that like doll up the dead people.
Some family for 100 years owned this major funeral home in California, and the youngest son just he went off the deep end of cremations. I was like, what the.
Well, when you surround yourself with death your entire life, like dude, you're gonna go off the
you're supposed to get cremated. You go into the thing, they give you the ashes. He was like, nobody can tell what that. Dude, he was putting 50 bodies in the machine and just giving out ashes, like keeping them on the side. And then so it looks like the son is the big asshole, which he was, right? And smoke's coming out. People, the facility burnt down because the guys would get high while they're throwing.
What are the odds of that?
And these were a lot of them were homeless people and stuff like that. That's how they justified it. But he claims that it's been going on for years. I just got caught by those. The guy's a 5-star asshole. But the place burns down where they were. So he opened up another one, but he wanted to open it up fast. So like it wasn't heat resistant. So a guy who was was part of the Holocaust is living nearby. And he's like, hey, I know that. He was like, he calls the cops up. He goes, something smells. And he was like, I know you got to get down here. There's something very wrong. There's bodies being burned. I know it. And they tried to get in. The one guy
so the guy from the Holocaust is like, dude, trust me.
I know. Yeah, that's what it was. He was like,
Jesus Christ.
And so with that, that, you're going, oh, wow, this was a respected family that owned this funeral home for 100 years, right? And then all of a sudden, they start talking about the mother. And they were like, the mom was such a sweet. And I'm thinking, oh my God, this poor family with the sweet mom and dad. And all of a sudden, the narration, but there was a dark side. All of a sudden, you're like, no way. Dude, this lady was like selling eyeballs, telling the people, like they were body parts.
Jesus Christ.
So like, the funny thing is, but it was technically, it was for the greater good of society that eyeballs and not cataract, what do you call it in your eye? Irises and all the shit. Like people were benefiting in the world. hospitals. People were getting eyesight back, but they didn't bother.
It's when I tore my ACL. They're like, well, we can either take something from under your kneecap around that area, or you can get a cadaver. I was like, well, can you make it like a black guy so I can jump higher? Like, can you be a better athlete?
They have these poor people. Once the story broke, the lady, just like a 70-year-old lady, she's got her husband's ashes, right? She's like, and to think, I don't really know if these are my husband's ashes. And after watching the documentary, I wanted to yell. I yelled at, they are not your husband's ashes.
It's like Maury Povich.
It's not even close. But they were literally like everybody. They were being oh my, what a jerk! And the guy's out of prison now, and he's doing the interview, and he's still like, no, I made a mistake of not getting the permits for the like. He's talking about permits. I'm like, no, dude, you were shoving 100, and at one point they said there was 150 bodies inside the thing, and they would just sweep it up and put it in and ship it all over. Oh my God. One of these
Netflix, am I right?
Yeah, Netflix. One of these awful things. I'm like, this show. Of course, I was glued to it because I was like, whenever a show was, I guess yes, it is evil for sure. But I was like, wow, how big of an asshole can someone be? And every 20 minutes, I was like, wow, that's a real asshole. Well, oh, that's a real asshole. And then like an hour later, you're like, that's a big time, man. Worse than worse. I got one episode left. I'm wanting to find out what happens to this mother who baked cookies for all the people. All she wants to do is help people and sell your grandfather's eyeballs to Russia. It's unbelievable.
Did you watch the Bin Laden documentary?
No, it's another one I got. It's on my heart. I like
just another reason of why, like, when I'm done with it, I'm like, fuck these motherfuckers. Just like gets me so angry.
You do get fired up with those shows. Come on,
man.
Anyway, all right. Well, big week this week. Bookings, blah, blah, blah. Don't forget, check out the Pine Tar Bar and Grill at Fork and River. And don't forget Lisa Ruane if you're struggling. 201-725-1251. She's a therapist. She'll tell you what to do. There was probably something else I wanted to talk about, but I forget. We're running late here, and that'll do it here.
All right.
Shout out to Tyson Hogan and Darryl Clark and Sam Grasso for tuning in here at Shea. And we didn't discuss how awful the Yankees were this weekend.
Don't want to.
Yeah, we just glossed over it. And very slowly Soto's starting to hit. So I think
here we go.
Here we go. Soto's gonna end up batting 285.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll see what happens there. But whatever. Yankees pitching was terrible.
Everything was terrible.
And Volpe. Anyway,
we curse out Volpe. He hits 2 home runs in the last 3 days. And I'm like,
there's something about him though. He stinks. I think.
Well, we'll see.
So what have we learned? The Knicks. Any coach today? Is that close to going down? Or
I have no idea. I
didn't look at ESPN.com. All right. Well, the Knicks may have a new coach by next week. Carl Towns will still sink. Volpe stinks.
Right.
And that's it. And the Pacers, of course, but they did game 1. That was hysterical. And see, some of the OKC fans are like, what? And when Knicks fans are like, saw that one. And then,
we've seen this act before. Just wait till the second one. It's even better.
Well, game 2, they were clearly like, you see what, like 5 minutes ago, they were up like 17. They were still pressing and going. Like, no, we're not doing that.
Not fucking around this time, though.
But Halliburton, if he gets hot. Anyway, all right, that's it. Show over.
Good night, everybody.
Love you. Good night, everybody.
Peace.